crossed that many times of praying for somebody who claimed to have a demon.
This is a story about my succubus girlfriend. That's what literally the YouTube title says, but I'm a freaking lonely person. I'm a lot like my dad, that's a loner, and I'm glad to see that a girl, the what is it called, the succubus, actually wants to bleep with me. But yeah, this is the guy talking about the info about that.
Have sex with them during the night. Sometimes people who even have children in the spirit realm, but who cannot have children in the physical, who have no affection between their husband or their wife, and some who cannot even get married. Including stories where a person would feel something raping them, or something has a violent sex with them, not only in the sleep. I remember even
I have worries about breaking
about
my
a person, an encounter
bed.
where she went to the mall and something was taking control of her physical body. This demon was torturing her by having sex with her in the mall. And so now this may seem bizarre, far-fetched for some of you, like this is completely crazy, but this is not new. Almost every person who does deliverance will tell you that they came into an encounter with somebody, they prayed for deliverance in this area. Now, is it biblical? Does Bible talk about? Let's take a look. In Isaiah chapter 34, verse 14, it says, "The wild beasts of the desert shall also meet with jackals, and the wild goat shall bleat to its companion. Also the night creature shall rest there, and find for herself a place of rest." And night creature. Now in your Bible, if you're reading that, it will have a little thing on the top of that night creature, and then if you look below in the footnotes, it will say Lilith, night creature. Now in most of the religions of this world, they had these demons, they call them incubus and succubus, where this male demon or male entity that will come in the sleep and have sex with women, and this female entity that will come and have sex with men, seduce them, sometimes steal their children. And
this
so there was a lot of
is a
myths
documentary
on succubuses. But these are not myths. These are realities of things that people are battling.
Hopefully YouTube invites me to TIFF this year.
We see that in
like Alex.
Book of Genesis chapter 6, that spiritual entities, the sons of God, and I believe, like many people believe, that this is not, sons of God are not necessarily the descendants of Seth, but sons of God, these are the angels. These are people who were part of God's divine council, people who were a part of God's team, God's, part of the hosts. They started to come on the earth, and they started to make love to women. They started to have physical relationships with women. And Jude tells us, the half-brother of Jesus, tells us that because they crossed these boundaries God has set for these sons of God, these spirits, then God eventually punished them, and he locked them up in the prison. Now, it's possible for evil spirits, for demonic spirits, to be able to have this kind of a sexual relationship. Spirits can take on a physical form. We see that angels can take on a physical form. They can walk, they can talk, they can eat, they can have their feet washed. And we see the same thing with demons, is they can also take on a spiritual form. These spiritual entities would come and have sex with women, and there will be an offspring that will be produced. These giants.
This is the guy that's providing my documentary.
Continues today.
It came out 1 year ago.
Sex with people. Now, not necessarily that physical children are produced, but they impregnate these people with spiritual perversion. They impregnate this person with spiritual confusion. The offspring of these encounters, they last through the day. Sometimes they destroy relationships, they destroy marriages, and they destroy a person's peace and ability to function. Because Satan's ultimate goal is to bring restlessness and to disconnect you from God and from other people. Now, even Saint Augustine in the City of God book, he mentioned, and I'm going to quote, "There is also a very general rumor. Many have verified it by their own experience, and trustworthy persons have collaborated the experience told by others."
How
that
many minutes
selvans
left?
and fawns, commonly called incubi, have often made wicked assaults upon women. So meaning these incubus and succubus. The incubus is pretty much comes from the Latin word and nightmare induced by a demon. It takes a form of a man and it makes love to a woman. And succubus, it's pretty much similar word. It takes a form of a woman to have sex with men. And sometimes, as in Isaiah, we see it's the creature of the night creature, the demon of Lilith that comes in and has these intercourses with the person during the sleep and torments them as well through that and causes division, restlessness, and lack of peace. Now, these spiritual sexual spirits or spirits that cause this thing in the sleep, they can molest and torment individuals. A lot of times they can also cause wet dreams and orgasm. They cause a person to be emotionally drained because it's like a spiritual rape. And this dream sex can be so intense, and actually in some cases it could be addictive. This dream state results in sexual orgasm, it followed by guilt and a lot of times condemnation and accusation. These evil spirits, they delight in inflicting pain, fear, and mental anguish. And a lot of times people cannot get married, or their marriages end up in divorce, or they have no affection, or they have no sex drive for their spouse. Now, I'm not in any way saying that if you're battling with any of these things that I just mentioned, that it must be that, but if you have something that comes to you at night, and something that takes on the face of someone else and has sex with you in the sleep, and this continues regularly, you're battling, you're struggling with wet dreams, and you're waking up and you feel like, man, I just had an orgasm in the sleep, and this is something that is repeated, and you're watching also pornography, or you're battling with lust or other things, you're dealing with the spirit that is very common in almost every person that I know that does deliverance has one time or another dealt with this in delivering people from demons. And once the people were delivered, all of this nonsense stopped. The married folks, a lot of times they would find their love and affection for each other, and those who are not married, many times God will bring them to marriage, because these demons will hold them back, because these demons are very jealous of you being with somebody else. They're almost like attached themselves, and they're very jealous of you being with somebody else. Now, they usually can come from five sources.
This is
One
Friday
of them is
night
witchcraft.
show.
Witchcraft spells, potions, love potions, and other curses of lust. It's when somebody casts a spell on you, maybe somebody who wants to be with you, or somebody that you broke their heart, or they wanted to be with you but they couldn't, and so they go to a witch doctor, or they go to a wizard, and they cast spells upon you, and they cast all kinds of potions, love potions on you, and then as a result you start having these bizarre experiences where these demons now do not allow you to enjoy a love relationship with anybody else. The second open door to these sex demons and to these spiritual spouses is through sexual sin. Fornication, pornography, adultery, bestiality, homosexuality, lesbianism, or any other acts, sexual acts, including viewing and consuming pornography. They open doors for these sex demons. These demons have an intense appetite for perversion. They have a huge, unsatisfiable
Now you guys
appetite
know. Don't talk
for
to a
sexual
succubus.
perversion and sexual immorality. It's almost like they feed off of that. But sexual sin is an open door for spirit spouse. Number 3 is they're generational. In some cases, these demons passed on through the bloodline. These demons, because of previous generations, had something that had to do with witchcraft, or had something to do with sexual perversion or rape or molestation or human sacrifice, that these demons go from one generation to another until somebody rises up and says, enough is enough, it was running in the family until it ran into me, and puts a stop to that and breaks its grip over their life and over their future generations. Number 4 is this demon can also enter through abuse and molestation. Perversion attaches itself to the person, and then the person becomes a victim. And then, yes, it's not their fault, but because of that act of abuse, because of that act of molestation, this demon, he doesn't play fair, but he saw that abuse And the enemy takes advantage of that weak point, and he comes in as
Oh
that
my
skin spouse
God.
and begins to bring torture and begins to bring torment.
This
And
priest
a lot of
has
times,
a
rape
lot of
and
episodes
orgasm
of
and all of this
demons.
stuff, and just confuses your mind, causes you restlessness, and then you're not able to function really well, and you're
Okay,
affected by that.
goodbye, bro. I don't need to hear that shit. I heard the first part, and that's good. I don't want to get demonetized. That would suck worse than my dead sister.